Hey guys, Brandon here with Exotic Cars 19, doing another one of these ownership review videos, and pretty great one today. Pretty excited for this. This is Steven, and I'm so thankful that he's willing to do this video with his fairly new McLaren 675 LT Spider. So Steven, thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, of course, of course.
So one thing that's interesting to note though is I initially contacted you. I wanted to do this video with your car at the time, which was a volcano orange McLaren 12C Spider, which at the time you said, oh yeah, that could work out, we could make a video. And then all of a sudden you said, well, hold on. And then you ended up making a move to this.
Yes.
So how is that transition from going from a volcano orange 12C Spider that you actually had from new, is that right?
Yeah, so I had the 12C Spider for about 2 years, bought it brand new in September of 2014. And it was my first supercar I ever owned. I owned a Z06 before that and had a blast with it. But so I got the car new, had less than 100 miles on it. And I drove it for about 24,000 miles, put about 24,000 miles on it before I traded it in for the 675.
You said you had a Z06 before the 12C?
I had a 11 Z06 Carbon Edition.
Okay.
Before the 12C.
So comparing the 12C to this, because obviously they, to someone who might not know, they might think it's pretty much the same platform or what have you, but that's completely different, isn't it? So how has that change been? Like, what are some of the differences, initial impressions that you could point out from the LT?
So the LT is 666 horsepower versus the 12C, which was 616 horsepower. So gained about 50 more horsepower over the 12C, but it also dropped about 200 pounds. How they did that was through a lot of carbon fiber weight savings. They changed out a lot of components on the carbon fiber and really just trimmed all the unnecessary weight that they literally just did not need. So as a result of that, you get a car that is 666 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds, 0 to 124 in about 7.8 seconds.
So how long have you owned the LT?
I've had the LT for about 4 weeks now. I've put about 1,500 miles on it. Me and my wife have both put about 1,500 miles on it so far. And we drive the cars. The cars are meant to be driven. We're not going to leave them in the garage and just let them sit and gather dust. We're going to get out there and drive them, let other people see them and get some positive experiences with them. And just enjoy the car overall. We're car enthusiasts at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you got the LT about a month or so ago, did you cross-shop it with anything? Because you were telling me before this, you said that if you didn't have to, you wouldn't have got rid of the 12C. You loved it so much, is that right?
Yes.
So when you decided on a 675 LT, was there anything you were cross-shopping it with, or was the only thing that could replace the 12C this car?
I've always had a love ever since I was a kid for Lamborghinis. It's always been close to my heart. Ever since seeing the Gallardo growing up.
Oh yeah.
I really just loved the car. I always told myself I'd have one. So I was looking at one of the Aventador SVs for a little bit, and decided, I loved my 12C so much, and not just the car itself, but the customer events that McLaren puts on.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people don't hear about with the cars. They just look at the cars, but the customer service and the events and everything have been so amazing from McLaren. That really ultimately is what brought me back to buying another McLaren. It's probably going to make me a lifelong customer.
Yeah, for sure. That reminds me, like, the few people I do know with McLarens, they get tied to that brand so much.
Exactly.
Just from different things that McLaren will put on and all that. And also with the Circuit of the Americas in our backyard for the most part as well. It's kind of cool, some of the events that they'll throw there every now and then.
Yeah, you just can't meet the McLarens out on the track or performance-wise. I mean,
oh, yeah.
I'm biased because I'm a McLaren owner, but there's 100 reasons.
There's things that made you biased though, so
exactly,
it's all fair enough.
I could give you 100 reasons why to buy a McLaren over one of the other competitors. So, not that I don't like the competitors or anything.
Right.
As I said, I love Lamborghini, I love Ferrari. Just what fits me best is, as a car enthusiast, I really feel like McLaren really targets the true car enthusiast with the materials. I mean, the entire body is all carbon composite. On the 675, a lot of the body components are matte carbon, which is kind of the signature for the 675.
Oh yeah.
As well as the Alcantara interior, it's also a signature for the 675.
Yeah, and one thing we haven't touched on yet, your LT is a bit different cosmetically as well, so what have you done to it? So how did you take delivery of it, and what's been done since?
So about 4 weeks ago, it came off the truck as a chicane gray 675 with a Club Sport package option, which includes a carbon fiber wing, carbon fiber wheel wells, and carbon fiber mirrors, and a couple other small options here and there. And so it came off the chicane gray, well option and everything, but I really like color, and so what I did is I gave it a pop of color. I had some vinyl wrap work done to it in McLaren orange. It got a stripe on it and some pinstriping, and it came out really good, I think.
Yeah, definitely sets it apart as well. Not that 685 LT Spider was already, definitely a car that once seen in person as well already sounds good, but all the color contrast between the interior as well, with all the
seat belts,
the vinyls,
those were an option as well.
All of it just works with the chicane gray really well, in my opinion. So I think it's very striking. We're definitely turning heads. So, so how does that differ between the 12C and the LT? Any different public reactions, or is it like McLaren and McLaren to most people?
The 12C was volcano orange, which is a very metallic, strong color. So it's something that when you're driving on the road, just the color itself is going to catch your eye.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think the 12C definitely got a lot of attention. However, the LT looks so much more aggressive in my opinion, and I think in other people's opinions as well. Whenever you see the car, it just looks like something, you know, almost out of the world. You know, it's very unusual looking. With the LT, they really added a lot of different aero features, including, you know, 50% larger side air intakes, larger rear wing, hence the name LT stands for long tail. So it's a longer wing. I might be able to pop it up and you might be able to see it. But they really just put a lot of new design elements that really helps down with the downforce. I think you get about 40% more downforce actually over the 650S, which is pretty big considering even over the 12C, the 650 carried quite a bit more downforce.
One thing I want to get your opinion on is when they announced the 675 LT Coupe, they limited it to 500, and I thought it was kind of done there. And then when they announced the Spider, I didn't think that was true at first, but no, and then sure enough, they came out with the Spider. And it took me a while to realize, especially once I saw other videos out there of the 695 LT with the roof off, is a great car. What was your take on it? As soon as you heard about how they were gonna make a drop-top version of the Coupe, what was your impressions?
On my 12C, I had a Spider, and I really just like having the top down. I like the option to have the top down, or even versus the Coupes, I can put back this rear window. Yeah, you get a lot more of the exhaust note.
It's a different burble that just came in just now.
Yeah, exactly. So I just like the elements. I also like the design of the Spider a lot. Some people prefer the Coupe design overall, but the Spider, I don't know, it really called to me, and I was really excited when they first came out with the Spider. A lot of people are kind of controversial about it because McLaren first promised 500 Coupes, that would be it. Yeah. So a lot of the Coupe buyers, you know, or some of them are, you know, kind of like, why are they making a Spider when they promised 500 cars? But I still believe that, you know, the 675 are still very exclusive cars. 500 Coupes, 500 Spiders. I am ultimately, because, you know, I'm a customer of the car. I'm very happy with when they came out with the 675 Spider. A lot of people think that, you know, having a Spider, which in most cases is going to actually, you're going to sacrifice some performance on the track. But with the McLaren, since they have a carbon fiber tub, carbon composite body, you actually don't sacrifice any of the structural rigidity that you would, you know, normally sacrifice if you're comparing it to an aluminum car. And
you have to be like a really, really great and like, I don't know, sensitive driver to tell that difference. Like I remember watching the review with Chris Harris on the 488 Spider. He said that there's ever so slightly that little bit of flex that you won't get with the Coupe. I know I wouldn't be able to tell that difference. With McLaren, however, those very, very picky people who know what they're talking about, they say because of the carbon fiber tub, there is no difference in rigidity. So that's definitely something to take note of, I guess, if you were cross-shopping between Coupe and Spider of a McLaren.
Yeah, exactly. You really aren't sacrificing performance going with the Spider. All the 0 to 60 times are the same. All the 0 to 124 times are the same. And the track times come out the same as well. So
it's just the option to drop it.
Exactly. You know, some people are diehard Coupe fans, and I totally understand that. But I'm one of the opposites. You know, I really like Spiders. I really like the option to, you know, put the top down and, you know,
especially, I mean, some people get these road cars though, and they actually hardly see road. They'll just track them.
Yeah, exactly.
So that would make sense as well. But just that option, I think, is nice. And you put how many miles do you say on the 12C?
Put about 24,000 on the 12C before I got it.
That's great. And how did you use? What were those miles? Were they?
Some were track miles, but the majority were just cruising around, just like today. You know, and enjoying the car.
Did you take it to destinations? There's not a point A to B, but did you take it out like that in a sense?
We'd go and we'd go up to Dallas and, you know, take road trips in it. And it's not, a lot of people would be like, that's an awful road trip car, but we have the McLaren matching luggage, and, you know, so it fits all of our stuff nicely for several
It's all
days.
an event, isn't it?
Exactly. And so we just, you know, we'll road trip with the car and, you know, have a lot of fun with it.
downshifts pop off kind of makes me think of the sound. You definitely spent a lot more seat time in the 12C. So what is the difference? Oh wow, yeah. There's a definite audible difference when that window's down, isn't there? Public reaction. They like it. Where'd they go? Oh, that's a good sound. That really cracked up.
Sticking a track mode now.
Oh, is there like a big audible difference with that as well?
Yeah, it'll keep it up even in the higher RPMs.
Oh, really?
It'll actually even pull harder.
So, what were your first impressions as far as sound when you jumped from the 12C after selling it to this? Was there like that big of a difference?
The 12C had a great sound,
yeah.
It really did. I feel like, because this has a titanium exhaust, I feel like you're getting a little bit deeper sound here. You're getting, with the downshifts, you're getting some of those pops and crackles which I didn't get in the 12C, but still, it's just really great sounding car.
Oh wow.
Get quite a few people trying to race us.
Oh really? Yeah, well, I made the video with Daniel and his Ferrari. He said that's like the first thing he wanted to mention was like everybody wants to race you. So.
Yeah, it is part of it. But yeah, I really am liking the new exhaust with it. Being titanium and yeah, as I said before, it just makes it sound, gives it a deeper feel to it. You get to hear more of the exhaust. It kind of makes it a little more visceral feel to the car.
No, definitely more visceral. And what's crazy about that is, correct me if I'm wrong, but hasn't McLaren so far since the 12C with that every car has the same overall source of engine? Was it the 3.8? Okay, 3.8 liter V8.
All the cars have a 3.8 liter twin turbocharged V8.
That's right.
All the cars until the new 720S now has a new 4-liter engine.
Oh, okay.
However, whether you're looking at the P1, the 12C, the 650S, 675, it's all the same engine. It's tuned a little bit differently. It's mixed with different turbos.
So that's why it's interesting to make note of like how big of an exhaust difference there is here, because it's overall like the same source, but what McLaren did with it, it's a totally different formula, exactly. I guess you could say. Alright, so I'm pretty sure we covered anything that we are planning to. So, Stephen, again, I just appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
That was a lot of fun. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you all on the next one.